Hi Aries, how are you? Happy birthday. We're going to be doing your current reading for you. We're going to get, the past and what you overcome, your strengths, and then a probable outcome, okay? So let's get started. I'm going to look at your crystals to get an overall energy. A new labradorite was coming out. There's been something, a change, a significant decision that you've made within yourself regarding a relationship or situationship. You are sticking to your guns with something as far as the crystals show. You're crystal clear even starting here, and you're okay. You have a calm energy about you. You're running on faith right here. And courage, which Aries does. But there's an outcome that's already established within yourself. You have no doubt. So that's really nice. All right, let's get in the past, the energy. Recent past, please, for Aries. Cardillion, feed your creativity. So that's what you've been doing in the past energy. Let's see for the present. Your strengths in the present. Strengths in the present for Aries. Aquamarine. You're able to go with the flow more. And you're changing a mind-money set. Here now. Got Iolite, Aquamarine, and Cardillion so far. And the Iolite is changing your money set. Outcome energy for Aries in crystal form. Outcome energy for Aries, crystal form, current energy. Outcome for Aries, crystal form, current energy. Uknite, live in the now. And then the Golden Healer Quartz, which you guys get a lot. Open a door. There's a door coming to you that maybe you don't see or you do. From my crystals, you do. Protect your energy is on the bottom of the deck. And on the top of the card, which would have been the flow of it, is Jade. Be the bigger person. Be the bigger person in something here. In the outcome, you're going to be the bigger person. Or it's reminding you to do that, Let's look at past blocks. Past blocks for Aries, for the Cardillion. The creativity you've been dealing with. There's a couple that came out, and I'm grabbing it. It's in choices and visions that you want. You had to let go of something, but you had an understanding with it. Of letting go with some of the choices that you're making. I love that. It's odd because when I picked the painting today, I was focused on a want, because when I paint the white bird, it's more, seagulls are more wants, mine, 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 mine. But, when I paint the black ones, it's like final. I don't know, it's just as a scent, it's an order of, I don't know what that meant to you, but it meant something to me when I paint that painting, I did that a while ago. Let's look at the strengths in you, Aries, with the blocks. The strengths. Well, of course, you got High Priestess of Spirit, so you're very spiritual, number 7. And then you have deceit, maybe to see through that. Closed book, open, to see through lust. And it come upside down, so you don't want no part of it. So you see through. So that's your strength right there. You see through things. Yeah. In a conclusion. Well, strength. Can't believe that came out, but strength. I know you gained something, and there's still something unknown to you that maybe that's what they're answering in the future position. Remember when I had said, something you know what I mean? Because in the crystal formation, you already knew. So you see was behind the veil. There's still something unknown there. We'll get a smaller breakdown. You got strength this here. I want one more on the past because I love the creativity in you and I felt appetite for you. So I just want one more on the Kundalini because it's a grounding energy, a very calm. Are you at a standstill with something that you had a spark with? The understanding, the letting go, and the choices came out. So clearly, I'm not kidding. Clearly, the understanding, the choices that came out. So something that you've changed or you really accepted in changing. There's a switch in this heart chakra, which I feel. Let's get us more breakdown with tarot. Past position for Aries and the current, recent past. Okay, for Aries. Something you're no longer waiting for. You feel it's not strong in the past. Maybe you were trying to manifest something and then what had come in was stagnant. So you had an understanding about manifestation. You also had an understanding it could have been with a Gemini as well. It could have been a movement or a non-movement of one. A duality. This is for the current energy. You walked away, you're letting go. Withdrawn, retreat. Okay? So you walked away with the Eight of Cups. Yeah, this is for the past. This is an energy that you didn't know what to do with. There's a lot of backstabbing with it. It was some of your choices, but that you thought were good turned out not to be, you see. And it left you in an energy of being stuck. So you got past that. Let's see. Some conclusion. Yeah, Knight of Cups. There was movement, it was emotional movement as well. Maybe you have an offer coming in. There was an initiation, taking action. There was clarity coming in, more gentleness coming in. Your charm, your attraction that you normally naturally carry. Number 12, Scorpio energy. Something that was completed, an emotional, creative movement. So something that you may have done here where you're learning, I feel something, just like with my art, it changes and changes and changes through the years. I'm learning. So, then I'm an Aries. This is for that Knight of Cups. Yeah, I felt that, but that's a lot. But we'll look at it. Trying to resist toxic and worry. That's what you changed. You rested from that. There's been no movement and you found clarity. But your no movement has gotten so consistent that you're eager to go. It's almost like an energy of cutting through, but you pull back and use your judgment because there's something that you don't want to get involved with or associated with to even make you worry. So you're in a calmer, but you do have a way to cut people off. You know what I mean? It's very cut clear. What happened here in the present, you were very clear with yourself, very determined. That you had your emotions. There was a change in that, so it allowed you to do that. Can I have one for the outcome? Okay. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Pentacles, so we're back in no motion. unwilling to make a decision or juggle something in fear of juggling it wrong. Yourself upside down, you know, that's not like you. You got the star energy and healing. There's nothing to worry about, you know, just maybe spirits reminding you to keep your patience. You know, you just could have came from a period where you were juggling a lot and it got to you. And then there was a financial loss with it as well. Lots of healing with the star card here. You know, there's fear of change too. There's prolonged upheaval. You know, so it takes you longer to get over something where maybe people think that you don't. You know, because the Aries, it rolls off their back, but actually, no, it don't. It gets processed, I could say. So you were processing something, but you had done it a lot in a lot of cycles. I'm surprised that that didn't come out. I want to clarify this temperance. Well, you get your wish and you get clarity in the outcome. Something that was unclear to you before in emotions, you make it work in your healing stage in temperance, and you relieve all those negative feelings. You know, I felt that coming on. You know, the deceit of it all, the worry, and then not knowing what to do with the energy, and then running around, you know what I mean? And then you're cutting a lot of things off, or thinking of cutting a lot of things off. King of Queen of Swords, and some of them are soulmates. You're trying to use your judgment in something toxic, and you do it. Your past was dynamic. I seen that. There was a lot of healing that happened. Things that you weren't juggling. There was a lot of disharmony. You know, maybe some childhood issues that you had to go through. And we were dealing with somebody like this. See, there's strength here. The strength, please. Strength. I think that was the moon energy here. But that's okay. Let that go. You know why? Because you got the world. You know, that was two paths. You know, one where you're not going to participate in whatsoever, because that's the outcome there. You're not beginning. And then one where you're planting a lot of seeds for yourself, and you're going to see them come flourishing to you. You know something is going to be positive. Yes, there's a wish coming to you. You're staying very focused, you know. From the never-ending pick a pile, if you were in pile 1, I'm feeling 1. Very, very focused, laser-focused energy. Let's get a smaller breakdown with the news. These cards are blunt. Please take what resonates and leave the rest, but I do read them as they fly out. Okay. Let's go for past for Aries. Past for Aries, current energy. The blues. In the past. Which it's over. You know, there was an understanding with it. There's a grounding with the Cardillian energy, and here as well too. You found clarity. Something was very murky. You protected yourself well with it, but you also protected others with the decision as well. Frenemy. And you had a light bulb moment. I'm going to give you the 3 because you felt chained. And it almost came to a legal decision, you know. So if there was a separation here that got really deep and there was legal things involved, which I please, you know, take what resonates. But I feel that. Okay, here we go. This is for your strengths. Very kind. You're romantic. You have a charm and an attraction to you. You're very creative and intuitive. You come to conclusions and you see right through things. I really didn't quite like the energy that gave, so I'm going to put it back. Knight of Cups, please, for Aries energy direct, here and now. Harmony, balance, peace, and happiness. I like that better. See, they're very direct, these cards. So there was some karma, third-party relations, and a lesson that you learned, but there was balance in it. It was something that you considered very close. You know, official status. Maybe somebody approached you with that in an offer, and then you pulled back, too. So I feel that. You know, this might be coming to you in a whole in the here and now, and you feel better for Aries, you know. It was a light bulb moment there. It was harmony. It was a conclusion with something. Now the strength, there's always going to be an unknown. You got Cardillion twice here, you know, but you have clarity. Sun, oh, it's beautiful. You got strength with strength. I mean, that's the best card in the deck. Double strength. And you did run on fate. Which I like. Right here. And enjoy the here and now in the spring. And there's a timing card. Something's coming to you, maybe in the summer. Let's get a little news on that. A little news, please, for the timing card. For their greatest good, direct energy for Aries. And the current energy in the here and now outcome position. Outcome position for Aries. Something of detective, and I felt that this morning before I started to read. And I said, you know, and I wouldn't take it as that, maybe snooping, digging, associations, you know, maybe that's what you're doing, you know, because Aries can do that, because you clearly can read something, you know. You already have your discernments in line, you know. Maybe there's something with a legal situation that you're dealing with. Take what resonates. A lot of learning from mistakes, I see. You know, there's something that wasn't growing, you know, it had a lack of growth. There were delays, there was dissatisfaction, you know, there were blocks in it. There was a player energy around you. Something of dirty money, there was a call for help, and then something turned around. Turned, it says. Party animal, sex, drugs, alcohol, surface pleasures. Swept up in all of it, you know. Head over heels, falling in love, intense emotions. I think that's the past. Fed up with it, that's why, I felt that. You know, it was a way of numbing, you know, you realized who the sneaky link was. A hidden lover, low-key situationship, side piece, important person playing a central role, irresponsible. So, and you were numb to it for a while. You were self-medicating, you know. It was irrational behavior, and you finally got over it. I don't know who this is for or why it comes out in such a hard form in these cards. But maybe you just had to hear it, you know, the news. Take the top card and the bottom card. They were doing, or you were doing, a little extra. graduation came out, leveling up with something, a honeymoon, love on the brain, talks often, feeling all in their feels. So somebody's doing a little extra. Could it be you? Are you creatively trying to get yourself out of the blues? But there was a graduation date with it. Because Aries will pull back. They'll pull back. Their energy dies fast. That's why I think the honeymoon is present. hmm and then you're enjoying it, and then, your energy drops. Or you could have a person around you that drops your energy. And I think that's what you're fed up with. Maybe they're making dumb decisions, as it said, drinking, party, celebration, overindulgence of any kind. You were fed up with it. So you have a harmony. But that was a lot right there, Aries. Well, you're dealing with somebody that's going through that, and I pray for them, because that's all you can do until they want help. Let's get some affirmation cards. That was a bit much. Summertime. Something happened in the summertime with them that just changed your direction, too. It could have been past, but there's a timing card for everything. Like, it's time. Like, you don't want to sabotage something, and you don't want that to come unexpected either in the summer. So, something happens in the summer that's unexpected. There's trust, a structure, and receive. Soul ties. There's a reunion of something. Don't. Oh, Aries, I just said in the beginning of the thing, please don't doubt. Because you don't have any doubt. You ran on faith. That came out. And what's trying to come through these cards is somebody makes you doubt. There's something that they put in with your energy, and you noticed it, and it creates an unexpected storm for you. Yeah, keep your distance. Keep that time out there. I'm sorry, that I'm gonna put that in here now. On the bottom of the deck, that's what the sabotage is. Something that you trust, and the structure was not. It's a feminine energy, okay. It could be a foe, a friend, a faux friend, a fake friend, a fake friend. And you give forgiveness because you give forgiveness, and then there's distance for no reason. And it's time that you were fed up with it. And I think this person likes to overindulge, and maybe you don't, so you pull back. Something going on there. 23 minutes from choices, right? There's a separation. There was a one-night stand involved, and you're still letting go. So keep your decision, because you're worth better than that. Let them figure it out. Whoever you're dealing with, let them figure it out. Just keep your focus in harmony. This course is an unknown. There's something not, and I think that's with a situationship. I don't feel so much a relationship as a situationship or a friendship, something like that. There might even be family members as well. I didn't see inner child come out, but I did see that. I want to get one energy on who you're dealing with. They're young energy. Very young energy. Yeah, they're set in their ways, and until they want change, it's a creative block here. It's smoky quartz in the middle. They got a lot of healing that has to happen. 360, they're almost caught in a 369 trap. The 369 trap, So pray for them, and I pray for them too. And I wish you all the best with this. You're a good friend, but you don't have to stay around in that to be a friend. You can pull back, and this is your life too. You know what I mean? And I think that's the energy here. It's your life too. So don't feel any sort of type of way when you pull back from toxic situations. It's reared its head here. Okay? Hang in there. You walk alone anyway, you know what I mean? So to speak. Like that song. You know? Let them do it themselves. It was not walk alone, drink alone. Maybe that's what they do. I'm hearing that song. I drink alone. With nobody else. That song. Alright. Anyway, have a good day. Stay away from them.